Hello everybody, it's Q&A time and I'm so excited to be here with you again today to answer your most pressing questions about narcissistic abuse recovery. And it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to connect in this way, and I am so passionate about the Thriver way to heal and connecting with you. And I would love to see you and hear from you, those of you who are here. My wonderful son Zach is here. Thank you so much for all of your support and everything you do for the MTE mission. It's absolutely amazing. And I know that people come into these Facebook Lives from all over the world. And we have people from the US. Jill, welcome, Jill. Jill's a beautiful friend of mine. I'm so awesome to have you here today, sweetheart. And Donna, hello. Kelly, hello. Chantal, where are all you folk from? I know where Jill's from. She's just up the road from me. So, Anel, it's gorgeous. Finally, I can catch up with you too, sweetheart. It's so lovely to see you here. Jillian, Clary, my beautiful support staff member who I don't know what I would do without her. She's in here today. Amber, hey Mel, it's great to see you here. I've been so excited for this live. Is this your first live, Amber? It's beautiful to have you here too. And Jill, hi back to you. Sweetheart, we must catch up for lunch. Absolutely. Ilka, Idaho in the US. Hello, Rachel. Ontario, Chantal, you're from. Oh, Christine. Hi, Mel. Love you for years. Love you too. Hey, everybody. And we've got Chantal from Montreal, Canada, which is beautiful. So you know what? These hours go so quickly when we really get into the meat of these things. So what I want to do is I want to get going. And how this usually starts off is what I do is I answer some of the most prolific questions that we've had in the community since the last Facebook Live. And so I want to start off by Stacy. So these questions, first of all, I'll answer these and then I'll go over to you and I'm going to follow your questions and answer them for you. So if you just hold off on your questions for a second, and we're just going to go through one or two of these. So Stacy has asked, how do I deal with the financial hardship brought on by the narcissist's use of the court to punish me? It's hard when all of your money goes to the battle of the narcissist ex in legal battles. Stacey, this is a huge thing that can happen when people are fighting with narcissists financially and trying to get what is just their rights. Now, Stacey, my first question would be to anybody is, are we doing the inner work? Because no amount of doing this can make up for a beingness. When we're feeling traumatized, when we're feeling resentful, when we're feeling like all of my money and my time is going to this, and this is a never-ending battle that is never going to stop for me. When we have those hugely energized emotional charges that become our inner identity, that's exactly what's going to keep playing out in our life. And what I've seen with people in litigation with narcissists, that when they do the inner work on everything that triggers them, and they up level into a calm, what happens is things start falling into place. The narcissist trips up, they get the right lawyer, or the narcissist will be exposed as a vexatious litigant, somebody who is continually just doing this. The inner work is so important, Stacey. And if you are doing the inner work, be in the NARP forum to really get suggestions and coaching on how to work with this deeper to help you. And Karen asks, hi Mel, I'm struggling with constantly thinking I'm the bad person and scared to go out in public in case I see him. And it's like everyone is looking at me like I'm bad, also wanting to hear from him, but I know it's best that I don't. What can I do about this? Karen, I think most of us that have been abused by narcissists, we take on not just the narcissistic trauma, but also to the energy of the narcissist. And then we're smeared, we're defiled we are completely devalued to other people in this smearing process. And what it energizes and brings up for us is all of these feelings of I'm bad, I'm evil, those sorts of things, where we feel like literally like we're soiled or we're defective or we're shameful or we're wrong, and everybody's looking at us like that. And I really do believe this is one of the biggest human wounds that is a very, very deep epigenetic soul wound that we were told from a long, long time ago that we are sinful, that we are carnal, that we're not lovable as we are, that we need to be a certain thing or do a certain way because we're not to be trusted. And this is really a human wound. And this is the thing with narcissists. They bring to us our deepest wounds that we need to free ourselves from in order to be our highest and best self. So when we have, and I went through that too, that feeling of I'm defective, I'm bad, I'm evil, I'm the wrong one, I'm this, I'm that, and other people really judging us. We really need to go into our body, into our inner identity, our subconscious, release those wounds of I'm bad, I'm evil, I'm defective, I'm wrong, God will never love me and accept me, others can never love and accept me, I'm not acceptable as I am. And we heal into being, oh gosh, I love and accept myself, wounds and all, and it doesn't matter what other people think of me. What's important is what I think and what I feel about me. And then what we discover is the outer shifts to reflect that. The narcissist smearing all falls over. People start coming into our world and apologizing for what they believed. And it's because of our beingness change. We didn't do anything to make people think differently, and we stopped hiding. We just became our radiant true self out in the world. And also too, Karen, when you clean up all of your wounds that had unconsciously got you into a relationship with a narcissist, you won't want him to contact you. You won't even be on a vibrational level of a match for him at an inner identity level. He will actually be repugnant to you. You'll be like, oh gosh, not my reality. It's like when we give up junk food and we become really healthy, junk food holds no appeal anymore. It's the same when we heal our inner identity. So I hope that that helps. Now, I want to come over to you guys now, and let's have a look at this. And I'm just going to scroll up a bit so I can actually see. Hilma Rose, you're in here. Hilma Rose is a beautiful person in this community. And I just want to, okay, I'm going to pick up Kathy's question here. Daughter is graduating and will have events with the ex-narc. What's the module to go back to get through this? I love this question, Kathy, because I am such a big, big fan of either Module 1, the shortened version, or the goal-setting module to be able to release and up-level any trigger or fear that we have whatsoever. Because all we need to do let's just say it was Module 1, all we need to do is to say, okay, body, where is the trauma held of the fear of being in the same environment with the ex-narcissist? Body, where is the trauma in regard to that? It's going to trigger, it's going to go off for you, and then you're going to be able to release that and get to a place where you're completely benign, and you'll be able to go to any event where he's there and it just won't matter. And you'll know what to do. You really will. Or what I love is the goal-setting module, which is so powerful to manifest any state or any reality in your life. All you need to do with the goal-setting module is set up the goal, the source, healing, and resolution of this, whatever this is. So this, in this case, would be my fears of having to be in the same place as the ex-narcissist. So then what you do is you say, my goal is the source, healing, and resolution of this, which means the complete healing and the replacement with my superconscious, with my highest and best state of operation on this topic. That's what you're bringing in. So then what you'll say, body, where is that trauma? And you might start off at a 0 or a 1 out of 10, and you just keep clearing and clearing and clearing, and intuitively, or as a muscle test, you go back in and go, where am I now on the scale? Okay, I'm a 3 out of 10. I've still got 7 lots of blocks to clear out of my body, and you keep going and going and going till you get to a 10 out of 10. Now, the next day, you might need to go back there because deeper layers of traumas have now surfaced. So you go in, I'm starting at a 6 out of 10 now. I've got 4 points that I need to keep releasing out of my body, bringing in the source healing and the resolution, which is the super conscious state on this topic. And then when I'm at a 10 out of 10, I couldn't care less if he's there or not. You won't even think about it. You'll get there and go, oh, there he is, whatever. That's how to do it. So I hope that really, really helps. Natasha, good morning from North Queensland. I bet it's a lot warmer up there than it is here. And okay, so Sarah, that's not really a question. I'm just going to go down and find a question. All right. Okay, now a lot of you are actually just saying statements, but if you want a question answered, just be really, really direct with this. Sarah, I just want to pop in and just say something to you here. Sarah, you're saying, I think that the hardest thing is they're never sorry. You never get any closure. Sarah, I used to really believe that. Yes, I don't say they're sorry. I will definitely validate that for you. As far as getting closure, Sarah, we can have the most ultimate, divine, up-level closure. Because when we look at it the Thriver way, we come back to a deep understanding that you showed up in my life showing me an unconscious wound that I didn't know I had. And by triggering that and targeting that and hurting me so much, I look to you to heal that for me, to be my source of love, approval, security, and survival. But what I've learnt in the Thriver way is you're not going to be that person. I need to be that to myself. So when I let you go and I turn my attention inwards and I find those young, unrequited wounds that were never held or healed to wholeness, that were never able to grow up as a whole person when I was young, when I heal those, I realize what your purpose was in my life. Because I end up more whole, self-loving, self-accepting, expanded, radiant and healthy and confident with great boundary function than I've ever been in my life. And none of this could have happened without you. That, Sarah, is the closure. I so invite you to come into my free webinar and sign up to my free resources to turn all of this around for you. Fiona McClintock, you're in here. Fiona is a moderator. She's one of the organisers of NARP, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Central. Beautiful friend and colleague. Okay, Michael, do you ever hold workshops? A group event would be great. I would love to do that. I would really, really love to do that. Okay, Bnaz, I think I've pronounced your name right. She says, hi, beautiful Melanie. Thank you. That's so sweet. How can you use NARP to heal chronic autoimmune illness like eczema when in the midst of flare-ups and with chronic fatigue? I really want to talk to you about this. This is a great question. I'm a NARPer and I've been doing the program a little bit wrong, I feel, and I would like to have more focus and concentration. Thanks a lot. Okay, Bnaz, I really want to say to all of you out there as well as Bnaz that this is a holistic journey that we're on of healing all of us, okay? And that's very important to me, is wellness and well-being and detoxing ourselves. I really believe that we're needing to detox ourselves emotionally, and NARP is powerful for that and so, so good for that. And that's number one thing we need to do, is to emotionally change our belief systems and our traumas to get them up and out so that we have space for well-being. Well-being is many, many things. The NARP modules are one, and I'm going to get to how to work with that for this, Bnaz. Also to health. Diet is everything. So many of us, because we've been having so much toxicity into our lives, we are toxic. We need to do things like cleansers. I would really love you to look into coffee cleansers, parasite cleansers. Look into eating in a way that is very, very healthy for us. What I love now is that the standard professional field knows nothing about diet, knows nothing about well-being. We have the internet now. We have so much information about well-being. I'm a big fan of eating in a paleo keto way. I'd like you to do your own research. It may not be for everybody, but I swear by it. And I've seen people heal things that they couldn't have healed by doing that. Have a look at that. I suggest that to everybody. Have a look at detoxing yourself. Have a look at eating clean, having clean water, clean food, all that sort of thing. Now, when we get down to, and if you've got eczema, Venus, that's telling me you've got fungal infections inside of you that you can clean up with clean food, clean water, clean eating. And then NARP is all about going to those traumas. I would use, again, module 1 or the goal setting module. For me, I would go, when I have a physical thing, like I can get sore throats and things like that. We all have our susceptibilities. The goal setting module is my go-to. And what I will do is I'll set up the source healing and resolution of this. And the reason why I do that is because I know source, my superconscious, my higher self, knows how to do things that I could not possibly know. I'm not the power that heals. Source, the superconscious, the higher conscious, all that is, has the power to heal what I can't, what none of us can at a logical human level. So every time we're releasing trauma and we're bringing in the source healing and resolution, we are saying to that superconscious, that all that is, we're saying, enter me, heal me. All we have to do is see it as a light. We don't even need to know what it is, how it does it, why it does it. We just need to set the intention and accept that light. And we will heal the unhealable. I have seen people heal the unhealable, working with the source healing and resolution of this. So that's my suggestion. So Venus, I really hope that helps. So Susan, I love this question. I hope that helps everybody out there. You know, we have access to a power to heal things that just is, that we've always been connected to. We've just disconnected ourselves from it. NARP's about reconnecting to that. So Susan says, hi Melanie, how do I stop oversharing with anyone? I got so used to giving up all detailed information to my ex. I tell people far more than I actually want to. Thank you so much for your work. You're a lifeline. Susan, first of all, I really want to commend you on your self-awareness and your self-honesty to say, I know I do that and I don't want to do that, but I'm doing that. So the thing is, this is it. Any behavior that we have is to do with a belief system. Anybody, the way they behave means that they are behaving as per their inner identity composition on that topic. Now, of course, all of us behave in ways that we don't want to behave, but we're not going to be able to change our behavior until we actually tackle the belief system that's driving that behavior. So this is where the inner quantum work is so groundbreaking and such a game changer, because if we stay in our head, we're going to go, well, I know I do that and I don't want to do that. But then, you know, we're in the moment having that exchange with another human being and we go all unconscious. And it's almost like watching ourselves on remote. I'm doing that, but I can't stop myself doing that. Why am I doing that? And the thing is, our conscious mind isn't even connected with our subconscious pathways that are driving the behavior. So we need to get to the subconscious reasons why we're doing that. And whenever we're doing something that we don't like doing, it feels off in our body. So it's not a true self-behavior. A true self-behavior always feels wonderful and great and expansive and wholesome. So it's a false self-behavior. So a false self-behavior is coming from a painful belief. A painful belief is always created by a trauma that has made you maladapt who you really are, a true self. into another version of yourself on that topic. So when you go within, I'd love you to come into my free webinar and learn about this. When you go within, so what you would do is you go, okay, now I'm going to go back to a memory when I do that behavior. Now I'm going to tune into my body and I'm going to feel, where do I feel that trauma in my body? And it might be in your heart. So then you would go into your heart and you would say, sweetheart, because this is a part of you that's traumatized. Sweetheart, what is this about? Why are you doing this? I'm here to help you. What is this? And then you might get a 3-year-old self say that, you know, I had people interrogate me when I was young, and if I didn't tell them everything that they asked me and about myself, I'd be punished. I'm just going with a gut feeling. It could be that. Now, until that 3-year-old is healed, she's not going to stop telling everybody, everything about herself, because her fear is, if I don't do that, I'm going to be punished. Once you clear that, the whole thing will be gone. You don't even have anything to manage. You just won't do it anymore. It's the same for all our traumas. If we don't get to the bottom of it and heal the bottom of it, we are battling a traumatized 3-year-old who says, I have to share or I'm going to be in trouble. And then the adult goes, well, no, you don't have to share anymore. And she goes, yes, I do, yes, I do, yes, I do. We can literally drive ourselves schizophrenic by trying to cognitively overcome a trauma that hasn't been released or healed. This is why we go into battles with ourselves. This is why we sabotage ourselves. This is why we end up hating ourselves, because that inner subconscious program does not want to let go until it's healed. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, Jillian Tyndall, you're saying I'm doing module 1. I've been doing it for 5 days now, and I've released 4 pounds of weight. I love that. Well done. Congratulations. Because when we start releasing trauma and bringing well-being, our body can let go of toxins. When we have trauma, we hang on to fat because our body goes, this is protecting me from things that could traumatize me even more. It's like padding. When the trauma goes, our weight goes too. It's so beautiful. All right. I'm just looking for another question here. Okay, Linnell, I'm having a huge self-shame. Flashback to an idea I thought was a choice we made together, but I hated the choice that was made, and it was a true self-bag kind of thing. Help, I'm crying hard with no different outcome of issue. Okay, so it's bad choice. I made a bad choice back there. You know what? In narcissistic abuse, we did. We handed power away all the time. Our inner being was going, no, don't do this. This is really bad. I lost properties and all sorts of things on bad choices that at the time my gut was squirming, but my head was going, no, this will be okay. And again, Linnell, we really need to forgive ourselves. We did the best that we could with what we had at the time. And the reason why we made those choices, because we had scared inner programs. We had a little child within that was not healed yet, who was saying, I need this person to give me love and approval and survival and security. We were assigning unconsciously the narcissist as our parent. And we clung to that, and then we sold our soul at times. We made choices that weren't wholesome for our inner being. We handed away our power, and we said, well, if I just give you that, even though it doesn't feel right to me, you're going to look after me. So we're assigning that person to do the job that somebody else didn't do in our past well enough. But now it's our job. So Linnell, shame is such a self-destructive emotion. It tears us to shreds. It's not helpful. It's not useful. And I know you know that because you feel that in your body. But when you start releasing that shame and you start forgiving yourself and doing the work to do that, Module 3 in NARP is such a powerful journey of forgiving ourselves. Because if we can't forgive ourselves for what we've done, we're going to be stuck in shame and trauma. But also, too, we're going to keep reorganizing unconsciously experiences in our life to be more shameful about. It's like if we eat a piece of chocolate cake and we feel shame about that, we've then become an inner composition of shame, which means that we're then going to go back for another piece of chocolate cake an hour later after battling ourselves horrifically, because the shame is such a powerful emotional charge that our peptide addiction gets hooked on. The cells of our body want more of it. We will do something that shames ourselves again. Nobody, my love, ever shamed or blamed or criticized themselves into health. We love ourselves into health. I hope that can help you. I really hope that can help. All right. Now I'm just looking for some more questions here. Hilma Rose, great point. Don't forget the supplements we need to take. They help a lot. I agree so much. Magnesium, zinc is so, so important. Make sure we've got vitamin D. You know, we need to create an inner terrain of well-being. This is everything in our life. We know the quantum law. You know, you can all repeat after me. So within, so without. Our within has got to be the healthiest it can be. Then our whole life can be healthy. If it's not, you know, we are our biggest investment. Our inner being, our inner health is everything. Binaz, you said, oh, thank you so much. Oh, gosh, I love that you're working with a functional medicine doctor and naturopath and doing an elimination detox for about 2 months. It's still flaring up. Have you looked, are they suggesting keto paleo to you? Because really what you want to do is they need to be all over how to treat the fungus and how to create, how to take out that micro fungus infection, but still keep doing, hit it with the goal setting module as well. And even if they're not on it, if you hit it with the goal setting module, the answer will come. The solution will match the inner shift. Okay. All right. Tiziana, you're saying I've seen a Jungian psychologist 3 times. He doesn't seem to help. Look, you know, I love the Jung stuff. I love it. I love the shadow information. I love all of that, and I would never say not to do that. But what I really believe, Tiziana, is that if we're not releasing the trauma out of our body to make way for healing, then we're really just putting ice cream on top of poop. You know, we can't drive a Ferrari into a garage if there's a rusty old wreck that's still in there, and it's the same with our trauma. So where we've all gone wrong for so long is cognitively, you know, we're learning information. We're going, okay, well, these could be my childhood wounds, and this is my shadow, when my shadow presents itself to outside of me. All of that's good and well. But if we've still got the trauma, which then creates the beliefs, which then drives the behavior, and so much of it's unconscious, what we do, 95% of what we do is unconscious automatic behavior. How we think, how we feel, who we're attracted to, who's attracted to us, what we generate in our life. It's so unconscious. So when we need to change, we need to get into our being to do the inner work, to change our traumas, to get them up and out and replace them with a superconscious self, to become a healthy belief on a topic, to have healthy behavior on topics, because then we're just not going to choose the wrong people, and we're not going to hand our power away, and we're not going to not show up and be authentic and ask questions and honor ourselves and stop being feared of crap, criticism, rejection, abandonment, punishment. All the ways we used to just hand narcissists the bullets to shoot us with. We stop all of that when we do the inner work. We just become a different self. It's so much easier than trying to learn all the information. I love information as a supplement, but to me, it will never replace the inner transformational work. I tried information and all of the informational supplements. I tried that for years. I tried that many of them. It wasn't funny, but it didn't work. The inner work worked. So, Tiziana, please, you know, look at my free resources, come into a webinar with me, and you'll understand it. Okay, Binaz, I hope that's great that that's helped and really given you some direction there. Okay, Ilka, this is a really good question. Does NARP talk specifically about OCD? Oh, gosh. I want everybody to understand right off the bat, NARP works on any less than state of being, any, whether it be financial, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, relationships, finances. It works on everything, reprogramming everything. So let's just, OCD is anxiety. Oh my gosh, I used to be OCD central. Let me promise you. Because OCD is a feeling, if my environment's not right, I can't be safe. So it's like this obsessive thing about I always have to clean. I wasn't a cleaner, trust me. It was more for me, it was more like I have to make sure I've dotted it, every I's dotted, every T's crossed, because if I don't, something's going to happen. And what I found, okay, so your anxiety, cutting your hair has stopped, but it hasn't totally stopped. I'm just going to be really straight with you, Ilka. When I've worked on the people with OCD or they've used the NARP program and got to the deep traumas that are creating the beliefs that are driving the behavior, what they've found is a trauma such as epigenetically from an ancestor, there was a plague of germs that killed everybody. I've got to make sure there's no germs, otherwise I'm going to die. And I am serious about that. I'm serious. Or it's a past life trauma that's still stuck in their energy field, or an epigenetic ancestral trauma. When you find it, when you release it, when you bring in the superconscious well-being to heal it back to wholeness, it just won't be there. There are so many people on NARP that have cured OCD. And it may sound fanciful and ridiculous and crazy. Once upon a time, I would have thought I was nuts, I promise you. But when you start living this stuff and experiencing it, you just won't know yourself. My OCD was I cannot sit still for 10 seconds because if I don't have everything organised, everything's going to blow up. I couldn't even sit and be, ever. The relief of that being gone is indescribable. I can't tell you. So I hope that helps. All right, Jennifer has said, hi, Melanie, I'm feeling so much better, but can your wounds come from your teenage years rather than as a small child? That's the part I remember and feel wounded about the most. Sometimes find it hard to think of myself as a young child, but more of a teen when most of the damage seems to have happened, or perhaps I just can't remember. Okay, so I've got a couple of things about that. Jennifer, most definitely, often as a young person, we don't remember. I had no conscious memories of my childhood until I started contacting my subconscious, and then they all came back. My total and utter belief is, Jennifer, I don't know whether you believe in past lives. I do incredibly. I was a past life regressionist for decades. The things that I saw, the accounts, the reports that checked out in history that people had no idea about, and even myself, proved to me personally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they exist. My belief is at a quantum level that we're at a soul journey, and whatever we haven't healed through our journeys, that our soul wants to keep evolving, and it wants to keep releasing trauma to be able to heal itself, to go back home to oneness, which is our true self, God state, if you like. So my belief is that we can come in and we may have at a certain age from a previous life have had traumatic experiences or choices or whatever happened. And when we hit a certain point in this lifetime, that trigger will go off at that age or at that time where the soul has set up everything it needed to have that experience, to be traumatized, to reactivate the unconscious wounds into a conscious state, so that we can then go on the soul business about remembering and awakening and releasing who we're not to become who we are. So I've found that people who have had experiences later on that there's not there in life, that it's generally a replay of lifetimes before then to give them the opportunity to heal what they haven't been able to heal for themselves, for the future generations, and also for the entire human consciousness. So that would be my answer to that. So you can go with the teenage, but I would definitely, to get to the root of it, I would definitely be open to the idea of going ancient, deeper into your body. And even if you feel like you're going crazy or you're making it up, allow whatever feelings or scenes come up. It could be an ancestor's epigenetic history. The point is, it really doesn't matter as long as you feel it and go deeper with it and release it. Because to me, the teenage stuff is not the start of it. It's just a replay of something else. Okay. All right. Okay, Rebecca, what about the narcissist that becomes delusional, arrested, hospitalized, delusional? Is this a cyclical pattern after the final discard? Well, the thing is, Rebecca, narcissists are disordered beings anyway. So what happens with a narcissist is they are malfunctioning because they're not in a true self-function. In a true self-function, what it means is that our heart is open, we're connected to loving ourselves, loving life, and loving others in holistic giving and receiving ways. And of course there are challenges in that. But that's the definition of being at peace within and without. Now, a narcissist is not that. A narcissist is a rogue organism who has decided that my true self can't do the job. So I'm going to bury it and put a false self in its place. Then a false self cannot maintain his or her own energy, has to suck energy from the outside to be able to exist because it's not real. So a narcissist is always sick, is always delusional, and is always on the edge of a breakdown. And the only way that they can offset the breakdown is to continually get narcissistic supply to be able to hold up the false self. So it's like a vampire that needs blood from humans to be able to walk around. It's like a black hole needs to suck in celestial beings and planets and galaxies in order to exist. But as soon as the feed goes, the narcissistic supply goes, well then those beings start dismantling. So this is usually the case of a narcissist who, for whatever reason, is like a junkie that has got no drug supplies and will completely crack or lose it. Or the other thing is the narcissist can use that. If that's the only way I can get narcissistic supplies to be hospitalized and get people to feel sorry for me and care about me and run to me, well, then that's a great option. I hope that helps explain. Okay, but they're disordered and they can have multiple personality disorders that they just can't hold together. It's really a house of cards. A narcissist is a house of cards. And, you know, when they crack, they crack. Yeah. All right. Now let's just see what we ever... Okay, so Linnell, you said, yeah, the parent role I did give to him when I was talking about before, how we assign... We all did it. How we assign a narcissist unconsciously as our parent, and we're showing up as a wounded child. And you're saying, ding, 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 that really resonated for you. Thank you. Because the thing is, too, when we do that, you know, what I used to do was terror of abandonment. I used to vomit. I used to shake. And I have even hung on to the narcissist's leg as he's going out the door. Now, is that an adult woman? No. That was a terrorized 3-year-old who felt like if you abandon me, I'm going to die, because that was a trauma from 3 years of age. When I healed that, you know, now if somebody was going to treat me like that and abandon me, I'd go, well, there's the door. Shut it on the way out. And my inner being and I'd be like, we've got this. We're okay. There's such a difference. Okay, so Linnell, you've said I'm working with your program. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're working with NARP. It is a game changer with all of this. All right. And Dawn has said, I love that. We love ourselves in the health. Oh, my gosh, we do. We cannot blame and shame ourselves in the health. Never worked for anybody. Okay, and you're right, Florina. So within, so without. It's a Buddhist teaching. That's what I love about spirituality and science. They are meeting. This was prophesied by so many ancient societies that science and spirituality would come together, and that is when the golden age on earth happen. I believe we're in that. I believe it is so, so Exciting. Okay. Benas. Oh, thank you. Not yet on that diet. Research. Keto especially can do, you've got to know what you're doing, you've got to research, and you've got to, get rid of leaky gut. Keto is powerful for getting rid of leaky gut. Anybody out there with food allergies or leaky gut, again, it may not be for you, but look into it and look deeply into it. All right, Dave has said, is it possible for a person to display narc qualities after 4 years of a relationship? There seems to be much overlap with sociopaths, bipolars. Doesn't really matter. You're right, Dave. Whether they're a sociopath or a bipolar or just somebody who's darn selfish and stubborn, it actually doesn't really matter. Okay. Do you know, it's not normal. I have heard of it, and I do know of it, Dave, where people have triggered off into being narcissistic after a period where they weren't. And look, I think the whole thing is we always need to bring it back to self. What are my values? What are my truths? What am I prepared to live with? What aren't I prepared to live with? And also, too, what are my boundaries? I'll give you a really good example, Dave, and everybody. Let's say we're living with an alcoholic. And I know of somebody at the moment who's with an alcoholic. He's been an alcoholic for 20 years, whether it's 6 months, 20 years, a year, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's been like that forever. And, you know, she hates it. She tries to tell him. She has threatened him. She's done all sorts of things that she's going to leave. It's been going on for 20 years. He hasn't changed. The thing is, if she was ever to say to him, let's say his name's John, John, you know what? I am no longer prepared to live with an alcoholic. I'm no longer prepared to do that. So you can continue on your alcoholism if you like, but I'm going into an alcohol-free life where I am around and being with myself with people who don't have addictions. And do that. Now, when we do that, people have got a choice. They will either, and she would need to say to him, you know, you go sort yourself out for 3 to 6 months, come back to me and prove to me you're not. I may or may not be here because I'm getting on with my non-addiction life. But, you know, we have to love ourselves more than other people. So, Dave, and then he could change. So, Dave, your whole thing is, you know, if this person after 4 years has had this narcissistic twist or bend and they weren't really like that, well, then you're like, well, actually, you know, my things are teamwork, honesty, communication, kindness. You're not those things. So I'm going to go live my life as those things. And, you know, if you can durably get to the bottom of why you're not those things and work on it and really meet me at that place, well, we could have a relationship. And see, this is the thing with narcissists. They'll tell you anything you want to hear often. Yeah, I know, I get it, and this and that. But when you actually poke it with a stick and you say, well, what would that look like? There's been damage here. So there needs to be atonement. There needs to be space. There needs to be trust built. You need to actually face your inner traumas that have been causing this behavior. You know, when you start poking with that stick about what is really necessary for somebody to heal and recover and meet you at a healthy space, they will unravel right before your eyes. They will come back and go, well, look at you. And, you know, tit for tat. Yeah, but you don't. And you're not really, and you go, really, you know, you're not serious about this. You actually don't have the resources to do this. So, you know, when a narcissist says, you know, God has told me that I'm healed and I'm ready to join you, or I've decided I'm never going to do that again. And you go, really, what does that look like in real time? How do I just flick a switch? I'm not prepared to just flick a switch. I actually need to believe you and trust you. And they go, oh, right, it's all about you, right? So you know when it's a real person. It's like in my relationship with Brad. We've both had to grow. We really have. This is a normal adult relationship in your 40s and 50s when you come together and you've got baggage. Of course we've got baggage. So the difference is we hit a place and we go, okay, well, this is what we both need. And the other person says, you know, I'm prepared to meet you and work on this. It is so different than a narcissistic relationship. Totally. So, Dave, you know, lay your boundaries, be your truth, state it. If she unravels, just go, look, you know what? This isn't for me. And whether this happened 4 years down the track or whether it's happened for 2 weeks, 6, we know narcissistic behavior is abusive. When we love ourselves, we no longer accept abuse, and we stop abusing ourselves by accepting it. So, Linnell, you said great. I'm glad that helped. Angel, how do you accept that you're going to be dealing with a narcissist your whole life because you have kids with them? How do I protect my kids from him and even protect them from becoming narcissists too? I feel like his influence may be stronger than mine. I really do go into this, probably, Angel, every time I do a Q&A, and so often when I'm putting my work out to the community. The first step is we have to heal ourselves. We cannot have healthy children, even as the one parent, unless we do the inner work to heal ourselves and lead the way. Also, parallel parenting is very, very important with a narcissist. I did a big article on it recently, which will really help you understand that. So, Angel, I want you to look that up. Melanie Tonya Evans, Parallel Parenting. And also, too, I don't think there is any greater time to get our inner being healthy and aligned and empowered and loving and authentic and non-triggered by the narcissist. There is no greater time than we have children, because the hugest recipe for children that are damaged as adults, and I've worked with so many of them, I can't tell you how many, Angel, is because they had a narcissistic parent and the other parent remained a victim and broken and powerless. Both parents were totally unavailable in healthy ways for those children to grow up with solid inner identities. However, I have seen time and time again, and it happened with my son as well, that when one parent, his stepfather was a narcissist, it created huge damage. But when one parent becomes healthy and empowered and steps up and leads the way, that child follows regardless of the other parent. So that's my please come into my free webinar and have a look at parallel parenting. They're my strongest suggestions. So I really hope that helps. So David said, self-love is so necessary to heal that parent contempt and emotional abandonment that we experience in childhood. And that's so, so true, Dave. And the thing is, it wasn't our parents' fault. Look at the parenting they had. There's this huge paradigm shift that's happened in the world. All of our parents came from survival, do as you're told, food on the table, the roof over the head, the bills being paid, what's important. And our parents were busy. They came out of depressions. All sorts of things have happened. They did the best they could, most of them. And a lot of them were brought up with might is right. You do the wrong thing, you get the strap. So everybody, and the thing is with a child, their inner emotional composition is screaming out that I am lovable as I am, that I am lovable and I am worthy of love. And all of those messages were, well, you're only lovable if you do this, if you get the dishes done. And we were all very vulnerable, and we took on messages like a sponge, and then we disowned our own inner being because we didn't have parents who knew how important it was to nurture our inner being. And then we get relationships with other people who also disown our inner being. And the whole antidote to all of this is we have to come home to heal those original wounds, to become self-partnered with our own inner being, and then we'll start generating and choosing relationships that supply us more of that. That's the thing. All right. Okay, so Tom, I love that there are guys here. This is so good you guys are showing up today. Tom is saying, is it okay to take a time out in contact with a narcissist, even when it's the mother of my children? Don't like email contact also anymore. Oh gosh, it so is, Tom. I love contact tools like our Family Wizard. They're very, very powerful. If you have a look at my stuff on parallel parenting is very, very essential with a narcissist. And what it means is that you create separation between the two of you, and then you parent separately, but it's a lot healthier. And when you look at it, the thing is you cannot co-parent with a narcissist. You can't. So by removing the angst and the drama and the trauma between the two parents, it's actually healthier for the children. There's very effective ways to do it. Have a look at parallel parenting. It will really, really help you. Okay, now I'm looking for some more. Gosh, the time is flying already. It's just flying already. All right. And IBS. Oh gosh, irritable bowel syndrome. That's a really interesting topic, Finglas. There are now saying that there are massive links between NARP abuse survivors and irritable bowel syndrome. A lot suffer from irritable bowel syndrome from this abuse, absolutely. And adrenal malfunction, fibromyalgia, all sorts of system breakdowns. And this is just the truth, you know. If we're toxic within, we're toxic without, you know, our system breaks down. We're either in evolution, we're either evolving or we're dissolving. And when we're dissolving, it's usually because we're living out of alignment with our soul truth. Everything inside us is screaming wrong town because of our unhealed inner traumas. We are trying unconsciously to get the narcissist to do it better this time when it was actually all about an original situation. And until we heal all of that, we keep making the choices that hurt us. And generally what happens when we're making choices that hurt us with toxic people, we're usually also making choices that hurt us with toxic food, toxic situations, toxic thoughts. All of it's breaking our system down. Irritable bowel syndrome is, you know, a part of leaky gut, the wrong microorganisms and fungus inside us, parasites, all sorts of things. We've got to get healthy within and get healthy without. And then it all changes. Anna Mason has said, hi, Anna, it's lovely to have you here. Okay, Mike, I love this question. Gosh, it's all the guys I'm finding here. Mike, I tell you what, I hope no men in our community go, it's all about women and there's no men here. There's so many guys here, guys. It's really good. Mike, what are some pitfalls of feeling freshly healed? Is there a recommended maintenance? Oh, gosh, I love this question. Mike, I'm just going to say it to you. We're never completely healed, and I wouldn't want to be. I love not being completely healed because the thing is I get to keep expanding. So I'll give you an example. All right, let's just say, okay, yesterday, all right, I had a trigger come up for me, and it was like a feeling of, ooh, and it was a fear about something that I'm expanding into. What if this could go wrong? What if that could go wrong? So I went for a walk. And as I walked, I did quantum freedom healing on myself. I felt into it. It was right in my sternum. I loaded it up. I let it out. I brought in the superconscious healing and all of the higher self truth on it, the source healing and resolution, which I've been talking about. And then I just had this feeling of expansion, no fear, no doubt, no anything. Then I had a phone call later in the day, which was a huge win for me on that. And I've just gone, booyah. So within, so without. So I get to experience that stuff in my life all the time. Now, sometimes I can be human. Sometimes I can forget it and I'll get a big trigger and I'll go, oh my God, I'm a victim. This is horrible. This is terrible. I'm getting attacked. And then I go, Melanie, wake up. Wake up. That's stinking thinking. Less thinking, more shifting. Where is that in my body? What is this really about? Let's load it up. Let's get it out. Let's bring in the superconscious self. Let's expand. And the cells in my body open and more source flows through me as me, which wants my highest and best, which wants to flourish and nourish me and grant me the greatest health, love, and success possible that is my true self potential. So why on earth would I hang on to shit and think about it? Seriously. But I do occasionally. And when I do, it's awful. When I do it the other way, it's wonderful. So, all right, do you get it? We're always going to do this. Why wouldn't we do this? When we do this, life just gets better and better and better. And you know, every time you have a breakdown on the level of a 10 out of 10, when you up level it and release it out of your body and bring in source, you get an acceleration in growth, joy, love, and happiness as a 10 out of 10. It's brilliant. It so is. All right, so CHAU. Okay, now that was a statement. I'm looking for more questions. Wow, you're posting heaps, which is just wonderful. And I'm looking at the time. Our hour's going to be up so soon. Okay, so Mike, you've said, I am so grateful for parallel parenting. It works. If we heal ourselves at the same times, oh, it works. Okay, Dave, in regard to that question before, that she'd become narcissistic after 4 years, okay, no worries about getting back together. I wish to vibrate at a much higher frequency than a low level. Okay, and she did me a favour by revealing her true self. Yeah, exactly. That's okay. You know, and it really is about blessing people on their journey, even narcissists, wherever they are. Do you know what? Unconditional love was never, well, I need to change and fix you so you love me. That's not real love. Unconditional love is this. I bless and accept and allow you to be on whatever journey that you decide is right for you. And I free myself to love me enough to choose whatever journey is right for me. That's true love. Okay? Anything else isn't. And our inner being is oneness. If we don't unconditionally love other people, if we say, well, you need to be different and change and stop this and do that in order for me to love you, if we do that stuff, we're actually shaming and blaming ourselves. Our inner being knows no difference between anything or anybody in our experience, in our field, or ourselves. That's huge when you understand that. You know, it's like we can be envious of other people and go, oh my God, look at what they've got. I wish I had that. But you know what? When we bless it and we go, I'm so happy for you. My heart fills with love and happiness for you having that. We've actually just blessed ourselves. Try it. It's huge when you understand that stuff. It's so big. All right. So Angela said, thanks, I'll look into that. It means a lot to me that being a healthy person, will have that. It means a lot to me that being a healthy person will have a good impact on my kids. Angel, it's huge. And I write about it so much. I'm so passionate about it. Have a look at my resources under my name, children, co-parenting, parallel parenting, all of that. It will help you so much. And Harry, thank you for putting up that link for parallel parenting for everybody to be able to click on the page. That is really, that's really, really good. Okay, now I'm getting more questions from guys. I'm trying to find, Anika, you've gone to work. Bless, sweetheart. I hope you have a beautiful day. Okay, I'm looking. I think this is wonderful that the men have showed up asking questions today. Can you co anything with a narc? Kathy, no, you can't co anything with a narc. And I love that question. I love that question because, you know, when things start going right for us, Kathy, is when we go, I no longer rely on you, need from you, expect you, or choose for you to do this or that. When we let go, it's so interesting because obviously when we co-parent, we go, well, I expect you to do the right thing and I expect you to do this and I expect you to drop the kids off and, you know, and I expect you to pay maintenance. Narcissists love dicking with all that stuff. They go, well, you want me to do that? I'm not doing it. And they drive people mental with that stuff. When we up level and we go, you know what? I am such a source of love and health and finances and well-being for me and my children. And I've let go of all of my dependencies and reliances on you. And I'm creating myself as my own system. And I'm going to impart that to my children. Because it is the kids that go, well, my dad never. My narcissistic father was this and that. And he let me down because my mother banged on about it constantly. And he didn't pay maintenance. And he was this and he was that. They're the children that are damaged, and they are the children that as adults end up with people assigning them as their source and saying, well, you need to do, you know, I'm going to get with you because you're big and strong and you appear to be the person who's going to look after me. Then you're going to replay what my father did to me or my mother, if it was the mother, narcissistic mother. And, you know, and then I'm going to cling to that and I'm going to hate you and be hurt by you and do all of those things. I'm going to play the victim. We don't want our kids to be victims. We don't want to be victims. We go, narcissist, you're useless. Honestly, you're just playing games and you're just being a dick. Okay, I don't even need you anymore. Whatever you choose to do over there is fine, but this is what I'm building here and this is what we're jiving at. When you do that, I tell you what, most narcissists even give up trying to do your head in because they can't get narcissistic supply from you. And they'll take it out on somebody else. Mike, I'm not actually going to do a muscle test now, but I tell you what, how about I do that in a future one where we've got time to do that? And maybe we'll do like a Facebook Live on muscle testing. That would be really, really cool. So Anna, you're saying thank you. That works. Oh gosh, Christopher, toxicity is awful. You're right. It is awful. It is awful. Do you know what, everybody? We've run out of time. I just wish I could stay on these for 2 to 3 hours with you because they're the highlight of my week. I love connecting with you like this. I just really, really do love doing this. So everybody, we've come to the end. Thank you so much again for showing up, all of you. And for the people that are in Europe, I know it's really early in the morning for you. I love you all so much. It is absolutely my honor and my joy to serve you in this way. And I would love you to take your journey further. You know, the thing is, in narcissistic abuse, we can get so caught up in information, learning all about narcissists, learning what they do and who they are. And, you know, I did it too for a long time. But the true work is the transformational work. Why has this happened in my life? To show me what I need to heal, to become my highest and my truest self. And that's really the unconscious soul contract that the narcissists are doing on this planet, is beating all of our wounds and traumas to the surface so that we can get free of narcissists. But more than that, we can get free of all of the parts of ourselves that we're not allowing us to be our radiant, glorious, happy to be in our body, happy to be alive, living this life people on our greatest purpose and missions, which we all, I believe everybody that's been narcissistic abused has a grand plan inside them waiting to be unleashed, that's under your trauma when you clear your trauma. That's what we all want with all our hearts and souls. So I would love you to join me in my 16-day free course to connect to that, everything I'm talking about. And in that, there's 2 free ebooks, which are really empowering for you. There's 16 days of emails, which you can follow, which is going to take you on an amazing journey to self. Plus, there's a webinar with me where you get to experience quantum freedom healing, which is what I'm banging on about all the time. The super tool that shifts your subconscious out of trauma into your superconscious state on any topic in your life that isn't serving you. So please join me. It's revolutionary. And do you want to see more Facebook Lives? Because I love doing them. So please just say yes in the comments if you want more of these. And you know, ask about topics and stuff too. That might be a really cool idea to do. And also, I would love you to share this video with people that you know could do with a super boost and some truth and some healing in their life. So that's it from me, everybody. I love you all so much. Bless and thank you. Lots of love. Bye-bye.